Although corn snakes are known for being aggressive eaters, they can go several weeks without a meal. Because snakes have the amazing ability to reduce their metabolic rate by as much as 70%, they're able to conserve energy for long periods of time. This conservation means they do not require regular meals. In this video, we will explain how and why corn snakes can survive without regular meals, in addition to detailing 8 of the most common reasons why corn snakes will refuse to partake in mealtime. It all begins with low energy demands. The less energy you exhaust, the less fuel will have to be replaced. This goes for snakes, people, and most everything in between. This is the core reason why snakes, specifically corn snakes, only need to be fed once every few days or more. While snakes can go a long time without food, there are several other notable reasons why they can and will abstain. As a corn snake owner, it's important to know these details, as a plethora of direct and indirect reasons could be at play. If you have recently purchased or acquired a corn snake and are unfamiliar with their eating habits and tendencies, this is especially important information for you. Before we address the why in this equation, it's important to note what corn snakes enjoy. Corn snakes are meat eaters. Mice and rats are their primary dietary preference, but they also enjoy birds, moles, etc. In terms of ownership and how mealtime impacts your wallet, pre-killed or frozen mice or small rats is the way to go. Baby corn snakes are primarily fed what are known as pinkies, or baby mice, during the first 7 or 10 days after birth. Once that time frame has elapsed, a baby corn snake can eat 1 pinky every 4 or 5 days until they gain enough size to begin consuming larger mice, also known as fluffs or fuzzies. Once a corn snake grows to healthy adult size, they will begin the trait of casual eating, 1 meal every 4 or 5 days, or perhaps much longer. While baby snakes that refuse meals are often known as quote-unquote non-feeders, this trait can extend into adulthood in some cases. If your baby or adult corn snake is refusing to eat, the issue could be due to one of the following 8 reasons that goes far beyond metabolic rate and basic energy conservation. Number 1, new and unfamiliar home life. Baby corn snakes are naturally on edge and defensive. It is not uncommon, but in fact normal, to see a hatchling attempt to escape or flee its environment. If your young corn snake is refusing to eat, it could be due to lack of a trusting and stable atmosphere. Sit back, chill a while, and then try a feeding a few days after a failed attempt. As an owner, it's important to walk this tightrope with ease. While it's significant to establish a regular feeding routine, the last thing you want to do is stress your snake out. And yes, while potentially comical to hear, you can put stress on your snake. This can happen due to an unfamiliar environment, random handling, and other traumatic events. How you approach your snake for a feeding is also very important. Engage the side of your snake's enclosure rather than approaching from the top. This action can mimic that of a predator. Time, respect, and repetition should solve this mealtime issue and lack of food consumption. In this regard, snakes are no different than any other pet. All animals perform better and behave better when they're comfortable. Living in fear and staying on the defensive does nothing for an appetite. Let a healthy routine work its magic. Your baby corn snake will be eating soon enough. Number 2, shedding. More specifically, the shedding cycle. It's quite common for a corn snake to refuse a meal if it's in the beginning stage of a shed cycle. It's common for corn snakes to refuse meals and seemingly hide for a couple of weeks until a full shed has been completed. Similar to our aforementioned issue regarding environmental insecurities, it's not uncommon for snakes to feel out of sorts and uncomfortable during the shedding process. Snakes develop a milky glaze in their eyes when they shed. This causes vision to be compromised. This is yet another reason why snakes become uncomfortable during this time frame. Given all that we know, it's quite easy to see why food would be the very last thing on your snake's agenda. While it's not out of the question that a snake will enjoy a meal while it's in the midst of shedding, it's certainly a valid excuse for not partaking. If your corn snake is shedding, it's wise to simply delay the feeding, especially if a meal was just served in the days prior to the cycle commencing. Number 3, recent meal. Your snake could be full. While this will likely be common knowledge to an advanced snake owner, if you're a beginner, it's vital to remember that snakes do not require food every day. One pinky every 4 or 5 days is ideal until they are large enough to consume fluffs. Unlike most other pets, snakes only eat what is required for them to survive. Food is viewed under an entirely different lens. It's not about taste, and it's not truly about hunger. It's about survival. This takes the exclamation, "It's time to eat," to a whole new level. If you fed your snake 24 to 48 hours ago and it's refusing a meal, there's a good chance that not enough time has passed. The timing between meals and its significance is one of the most important things that a snake owner can learn. Number 4, improper food temperature. No one likes a cold meal, snakes included. This is why it's important that you always prepare a warm meal for your corn snake. While it's true that many snakes will eat a defrosted mouse without a whole lot of fuss, warm is the way to almost always guarantee success. If your snake was in its natural environment and killed prey, the meat would naturally be warm. Always keep this in mind because recreating your snake's natural habitat is so very important. This goes for your snake's enclosure as well as its meals. If your snake is not eating when the feeding time window has opened, the temperature of the meal itself could be the reason. Try warming things up and see how your snake reacts. Number 5, illness. Like every animal, illness can set in and ruin your pet's appetite. Corn snakes are no exception. If your snake is dealing with an ailment or parasite, the outcome could be fatal. Loss of appetite, lethargy, and vomiting are just a few symptoms of a parasitic condition. Please take your snake to the vet if your reptile's food refusal is accompanied by these symptoms. Number 6, cold environment. In order for your corn snake to digest its food properly, it must be in a warm environment. If said environment is not available at all, there is a chance that outright food refusal will occur. Because snakes are cold-blooded, they lack the ability to naturally regulate their own body temperature. If your snake's tank is primarily cold, your reptile will need some form of heating source, whether it be from a heat pad or natural sunlight supplying warmth to the enclosure. Number 7, separate enclosure feeding. We noted earlier how young corn snakes and even some adult snakes have difficulty eating when they are in a defensive posture due to being unfamiliar or potentially afraid of their environment. Piggybacking on that very important point, attempting to feed your snake outside of its familiar enclosure can cause stress and lead your corn snake to refuse its meal. Once a snake becomes familiar with its enclosure, that space becomes its home, meaning meals should be served in this safe and familiar location. It's their territory. If you have found that your snake is unwilling to eat, it could be due to a mealtime transition. If you have been taking your snake to a different location for a feeding, try feeding your snake in its enclosure. Unlike humans, snakes aren't big fans of going out to eat. Allowing your corn snake to stay at home during meals will likely result in positive mealtime. And finally, number 8, carrying eggs. If your female corn snake is carrying eggs, she will likely stop feeding. This is because the eggs are occupying too much space inside the body. making it virtually impossible to consume a full meal. During this time, your corn snake will be far too concerned about using its body to carry its eggs rather than digestion. If you want to offer your corn snake food during this period, it's important to drastically reduce the portion size. Smaller mice are perfect. And on that note, that'll conclude things for this informative video regarding corn snakes and their eating habits and potential mealtime complications. Question time. Do you have a corn snake? What type of feeding schedule do you observe? Have you ever had difficulty with feedings? If so, please share your story in the comments section below. I'd love to read about your life as the proud owner of a corn snake. In respect to this particular video, we hope you enjoyed it. If you like the content, please hit that subscribe button and join the fun. We produce new videos on a routine basis, so please subscribe and stay up to date. Until next time, we thank you so much for watching, and from all of us here at snakesforpets.com, we hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you.